Um, in the last part under this series, while we were looking at the life of Elijah, the things that Prophet Elijah was doing before um, he was taken. Actually, we are still on that teaching. We are not done, but there's a need to quickly explain what it means to be on fire. There were several people in the Old Testament who are actually on fire for Jesus. There are people in the Old Testament that we can see as men that are on fire for Jesus. And then one of the most popular prayers, one of the most popular desires that people have, especially those that believe in Jesus, is to be on fire. That's one of the most popular prayers, the most popular desires that people have. Oh, I want to be on fire. And then when you go for a program and you ask the people, how many of you want to be on fire for Jesus? And then you see virtually everybody, they are raising their hands, because if you don't raise your hands, and then you'll be you look like a suspect, and then people will start looking at you as if you are a witch or maybe a devil. So it's a question that everybody responds to. Even as you are listening to me now, you want to be on fire for Jesus. Are you there? So we are going to look at the scriptures to know what it really means to be on fire, because just according to what Jesus said, if any man wants to build a house, let him first count the cost. Meaning that based on Jesus's description, you are not expected to say you want to build without first preparing yourself for that building. Are you there? And then if you look at the statement of Jesus here, you may begin to suspect something, because the statement Jesus was making here looks like, where is our faith? Jesus is saying we should count the cost. Is he saying we should go and get all the materials ready? Where is faith? Can't we just say by faith I want to build, even when I don't have anything, and I will build? Well, as we continue in this teaching, you will understand better what Jesus was trying to say. Before I begin to read those verses, I have a few things I want to share with you on this concept. What does it mean to be on fire? Now, like I said earlier, there are a lot of people in the Old Testament who are on fire for Jesus. But because of the emphasis for the chapter of the Bible that I was considering the last time I came up, which is 2 Kings chapter 2. The main emphasis in that chapter was Elijah, because that chapter was explaining the event that took place before the ascension of Elijah and after his ascension. Are you with me? So Elijah is an example. I'm going to be using Elijah because he is the focus of that chapter. Of course, there are many. Abraham was on fire, Daniel was on fire, even Elisha was on fire. But my focus, my case study for this teaching is going to be Elijah. So Elijah, as a man that was on fire for God, what can we see in his life? You will discover that in the Bible, while the Bible was talking about Elijah, it seems as though there was little or no emphasis laid on his family. There was little or no emphasis. The Bible did not really tell us the children he had. The Bible did not tell us the name of his wife. Are you there? But the focus was on Elijah. Till he left, the Bible did not even tell us that the wife was crying, the children did not want him to go. It was just about Elijah from the beginning to the end. Are you there? And there are many cases like that in the scriptures whereby you just see that the emphasis is just on that one that is on fire. Are you there? If you study Moses, there are few places where the Bible There are few places where the Bible talked about the family of Moses. Now, Moses ran to, when he ran to Midian, are you there? And then he married from there. That was why the Bible told us the name of his wife. Are you there? The Bible told us he married the daughter of Jethro. And then in the book of Exodus again, the Bible told us something that happened between him and his wife when there was a contention about circumcision. Zipporah, are you there? Apart from those two instances in the scriptures, hardly will you still find, are you there? You may not find too many other verses of the scripture talking about his family. The emphasis on him. Are you there? Because he is on fire. Now, the first thing you must notice this. As good as it is for us to desire to be on fire, but it really comes with a great cost. It comes with a great burden, and it comes with a great sacrifice. For example, the Bible told us that Elijah was actually preparing, according to 2 Kings chapter 2, Elijah was preparing for his ascension. But the question is, what if Elijah was not really ready to die at that time? Because, the picture the Bible painted was just that Elijah, was going to Bethel. He told Elisha to wait. Elisha said, "No, I'll follow you." And then Elisha in 2 Kings chapter 2, Elijah looked like one strong man. Are you there? Like a very strong man that God just told him, "You will be going today." And he said, "Yes, sir." And then he did not even feel bad. He went to Bethel, said goodbye. He went to Jericho, said goodbye. He was saying goodbye to the sons of the prophet. Are you there? But there are other secret things that happened that the Bible probably did not record. I told you that the Bible is a summarized version of the entire thing that happened. A man that lived for more than 100 years, the Bible can just summarize his life in maybe just 5 chapters. And yet that man lived for more than 100 years. So it becomes clear to you that the Bible is actually summarizing the life of that person. So there will be other parts of their life that the Bible did not capture. Maybe because it was not considered sacred enough to be a part of the Holy Scriptures. Are you getting what I'm saying? So what if, because the Bible did not tell us anywhere, Elijah was now crying, "Oh, I'm going now." The burden was actually on Elisha. It seems to us that, Elijah is this mighty man of God that does not have emotion. And then Elisha is that great man of, is that weak servant that is crying and saying, "My servant is going." But that may not be the case. Are you there? That may not be the case. Because God just told Elijah, "Okay, you are going today." And then it appears as though Elijah is just flowing with it. Obviously, in the initial level, are you there? Elijah may not really take it the way we are seeing it. Elijah may not be happy about that assertion. It's just like God coming to you and say, "Okay, you have done well, you will die today." Somehow, of course, you love God, you have done so much for God, but there's a part of you that will not really want to die. There's a part of you that will want to go to God and say, "God, please, okay, I know I'm done. Give me some time. Let me just enjoy life. Can't I just stay in this life and be enjoying myself?" Are you there? So it's possible that this period that actually, you know, um, this kind of experience, this kind of feeling came to Elijah, but just that the Bible did not record it. I can tell you the truth. You know, Elijah too, at the first instance, it may not really flow with that instruction. "Oh God, why will I go now? Am I too old?" Are you there? So it will be after several deliberations, several sorrows. He would have felt bad in the secret. Maybe not allowing Elisha to know. Are you there? Elisha may just discover that his servant is now taking a long fast. "Daddy, you have been in the house for more than 1 week now. Sir, I hope all is well. Don't worry, I'm with the Lord." Maybe he has tried several times to beg the Lord, "Please, I know you want to take me, but please let me just stay around for a while." And God said, "No, you are going this so date." And then when he had begged God and begged God and begged God and nothing happened, then 2 Kings chapter 2 now came. When, are you there? So the picture you saw in 2 Kings chapter 2 is the picture of the Elijah that has now finally submitted to that instruction. That was not how he took the instruction from the initial point. The instruction, when the instruction came, it's just like God coming to Elijah and say, okay, on the so date, by so time, you will be going. Are you there? But the picture we saw in 2 Kings chapter 2 is the picture of the Elijah that has begged and begged and begged, and because God is not responding, he now agreed. Okay, I'm going. Are you there? One of the things you need to know, are you there, if you want to be on fire, is that a man that is on fire is a man that has submitted to God totally. You can't say you're on fire when the instructions of God does not matter to you. Elijah was on fire because whatever God does, whatever God says, matters to him. Whatever God says to Elijah is the final. Of course, I can tell you boldly that Elijah was not really willing to go, but he just have to go because God says come. Whether he wants to come or not, he just have to go. What if Elijah was married? So that means the wife and the children, the wife will become a widow. And then the children will, the children will become fatherless. Because God said, you come. Are you there? So being on fire for God is has to do with living a life of sacrifice. Are you there? Living your life in total obedience to God. If your obedience to God is not total, you are not on fire. You must get to that point where everything God says moves you, whether it will affect you or it will not. Are you there? Whatever God says will move you. Some of you hear God tell you things that, you feel, oh God, why are you saying this? You don't know it's actually helping you to be on fire. How God trains us to be on fire for Him is by giving us hard instructions. So He can come to you and say, okay, send all your money to Him. Somebody can come and say, hey, take this money for your Christmas, and then God will say, send that money to support spiritual implication. And it's like, what's the meaning of this? I've donated the little I can. I say, send the remaining one. And you're like, no, this cannot be God. He's teaching you to be on fire. He's teaching you to be on fire. I can't tell you so many instructions I have received. Many of them doesn't make sense. But I have to obey. Why? Because I'm on fire. So to be on fire is to be living in obedience. You are living on obedience. Are you there? You are moved by the word of the Lord. Are you getting what I'm saying? And there's so much commitment, there's so much devotion that is tied to being on fire. Are you there? There's so much. There are many things that we are saying when we pray that we don't even understand. I want to be on fire. I want to be on fire. Yet you are not even obedient to God's instruction. You don't even know God. You don't even have a personal relationship. Yet you want to be on fire. You must count the cost. Are you there? Because every kingdom thing that we desire, every kingdom reality that we desire, will come to us at a cost. There is something you will now begin to do because of that reality that is opened to you. So to be on fire is to be obedient to God completely. Are you there? Without murmuring. Are you with me? Let me give you another example. Many times, see, we have to really ask God to help us. It's easy for you to look at men of God and just condemn them. Oh, this man of God is rich. Only God knows where he got his money from. Are you there? You are just condemning people. This person is not as powerful as this. This man is not as powerful as our own pastor. And then, it's easy for us to look at people from afar and then we condemn them. Many of us ignorantly, we just look at Moses and say, oh, Moses is powerful, but he's a hot-tempered man. I don't like hot-tempered ministers. And then you even come and preach about Moses and you say, don't be like Moses, that man that got angry and then blah, blah, blah. Most of the things we say Are you there? With boldness, we are actually ignorant of. Now, let me show you something about Moses, because Moses is also an example of a man that is on fire for God. Many times, the children of Israel, they have sinned against God. Many times, they murmur against God. God will, some things will happen to them because of their sin. They will open the door for the devil to afflict them. They will cry. Moses will pray on their behalf. God will help them. After some time, they will sin again. They will cry to God. God will help them. They go into idolatry. They cry to God. God will help them. So there have been uncountable instances where the children of Israel, they sinned against God. Are you there? They totally went against the instructions of God. There have been, countless of times. There have been several examples on several occasions. Are you there? But for Moses, it was just one time. Just imagine the hundreds of times that the Israelites have rebelled against God. And this same Moses has helped them to even secure favor from the Lord. It got to a time that Moses was even telling the Lord to cancel his name, to remove his name from the book of life, just because of these rebellious people. And then this one time, they were even the one that pushed him. They have so much provoked him that he could not even get what God is saying clearly. Are you there? And God said, this rod in your hand, stretch it to the rock. They need water. Meanwhile, these people have been pushing Moses, biting him, frustrating his life. We need water, as if it's the Holy Spirit. Maybe while they were shouting and shouting, maybe it was even their voice, their noise, that did not allow Moses hear what God was saying clearly. While they were shouting and murmuring, God said, okay, stretch your rod to the rock, and then I will bring forth water. And then Moses strike the rod. And Moses strike the rock. And the Lord said, what did I ask you to do? What are you doing? I said, you should stretch your rod, you are striking the rod. Okay, because of this that you have seen, you will not enter into the promised land. Are you there? I'm trying to explain what it means to be on fire. Meanwhile, I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just helping you to see the weight of what you are asking God to do for you. And then the Lord told Moses, okay, because of what you have done, you will see the promised land, but you will not enter. I've prepared someone to take over from you. You won't believe. God told Moses. Moses was alive. God was telling him, I've prepared somebody that will take them. And God told Moses the name of that person. God said, Joshua will take them. So begin to train Joshua. If you are the one, how will you feel? You are still alive. You are still active. Yet God is saying, this one will take over. So begin to. And then, is that thing you are begging God for that God wants to give to that young boy? And the young boy is under you. And you are begging God to do that thing. God is saying, no, it's this young boy, this one that does not know as much as you know, that I want to give that thing to. And God now still tell you, train him. How will you feel? If you are not matured, you even poison the boy and say, no, not when I'm alive. Is that not why King Saul is chasing David? That was why. King Saul knew that David would become king. So he could not bear that. King Saul wanted his own son, Jonathan. He could not bear that, so he was after the life of David. King Solomon also knew that, oh, there's a prophecy on Jeroboam's life. And then King Solomon could not bear it. He was after the life of Jeroboam to a point where Jeroboam ran away from the land because King Solomon wanted his own son, Rehoboam, to be king, not his servant, Jeroboam. So there are cases of people in the Bible who cannot even bear what Moses, bear. You get what I'm saying? Who could not face the things who cannot handle what Moses handled. Are you there? The two examples I gave you now, they were kings. King Solomon, King Saul. And then Moses is just a prophet. But he was able to handle those things. And the Lord said, okay, train Joshua. For you, don't worry, don't worry. Moses begged and begged. I'm not saying that Joshua should not take over. But please, let me just step at least let me even step there and then I can now die there. God said, no, train Joshua. Look at the kind of heart that Moses had. And then Moses began to train Joshua. And he did it with a clean heart. And while he was training Joshua, at a time, he will go to God again and say, please now, that thing I'm telling you, let me just step in. God will say, I said no. Several times he has been going to God. He got to a point, the Bible told us that God specifically told him, don't pray this prayer again. I don't want to hear you say this again to me. And at that point, Moses gave up. And then he was just doing his business. Why didn't he rebel against God? Because he was on fire for God. So when you are on fire, you will not rebel against God. There are a lot of things God will tell you that naturally you would not want to do. Are you there? It was your friend that was wrong, yet God will say you should go and apologize. And it was so obvious. Even people around were even blaming your friend. And God will say, go and apologize to that same friend. Are you there? That's your obedience to those terrible instructions now is the proof that you are on fire. So it got to a point. Moses had already given up. Of course, he had no choice because he's on fire for God. And he's training Joshua. And it got to a point, God now said, okay, let me just pity him. And then that pity is not to even bring him to the promised land. I said, okay, let me just help you, my son, Moses. Okay, come and stand on this rock. Moses stood on the rock. God now said, okay, can you see the land? Moses said yes. I said, okay, I've shown you, but that you will enter, forget it. So the only thing God did for Moses is just to show him the land. Moses saw, but he did not enter. Are you there? And then Moses did his job well. He trained Joshua well. That was why, if you check the record, in the days of Joshua, when Moses died, are you there? In the time of Joshua, the Israelites did not rebel against God once. There was no time during the days of Joshua that the children of Israel went into idolatry. The Bible told us that the children of Israel served the Lord all through the time of Joshua. Who did that? Moses. Are you there? That means those things God was saying, okay, Joshua will lead them to this thing I will not give you, I will give Joshua. Those things did not affect Moses. He still did his job well. That's a man that is on fire. There are some of you now, you see your friend doing some things for the Lord, you are jealous. You are envious. You are not on fire. You are not even on fire. Those things are proof that you are not on fire. Are you there? So, to be on fire is to have a heart that is ready to receive God's instruction, whether it makes sense or it doesn't. So, being on fire, the first place to check is your heart. What kind of heart do you have? Do you have a heart that can receive God's instruction? Are you there? Irrespective of the weight it has on you? Are you with me? There are times I've gone for programs and then the Lord told me, I remember I went to one, is it harvest or church anniversary? I think it's an anniversary. I went there and while I was seated, the Lord said, okay, transfer everything in your account and send it. And I did it. All those, see, those kind of instructions. Me, I've gotten to a point that once I know that God is saying, do this, I don't waste time. I don't even trust myself with. I don't trust myself, so I don't delay God's instruction. I will not say, okay, God is saying I should send it. Okay, I will send it. You won't know when you start removing out of the morning and you say, oh, I need to load the airtime. Let me buy this bread. Let me quickly buy this battery. And before you know it, the money has reduced. So you now send that reduced form. You have sent something, but you did not obey God. I was seated there. The Lord said, okay, send everything in your account to the church account. I called one of the ushers. I said, please, ma, please, can I get the church account? I know the woman will be looking at me. This young boy is very rich. These are big men. She doesn't know that I've been afflicted by the voice of God. Because naturally, I would not want to do that. I don't have issues with giving, but I would not want to give her everything in my account. For what? Are you there? And then she gave me the account and I did everything. There are times, many times, not once, not twice, those strange instructions have come. That's what it means to be on fire. To be on fire, number one, your heart will be tested. Are you there? How much things can you bear? Number two, to be on fire, your obedience will be tested. Are you there? How prompt is your obedience? How timely is your obedience? Some of you, God will say, do this. You say, okay. You wait for some days before you do it. That is disobedience. Are you there? Because time is also is also an important factor in obeying God. All right. Another thing I want you to notice this: a man that is on fire is a man that is on motion for the Lord. Are you there? If you are on fire, you are on motion. If you are on fire, you cannot be stagnant. And then you are not moving anyhow. You are moving as led by the Spirit. That's a man that is on fire. A man that is on fire is on motion. Is moving as led by the Spirit. So if you are on motion and it is not the Spirit of God that is leading you, you are not on fire. Because if you are truly on fire, then you will be led by the Spirit. So a man that is on fire is a man that is on motion for the Lord. So his direction is now determined by the Spirit of God, because it was that same Spirit that actually set him on motion in the first place. Do you understand? Please take note of that. A man that is on fire is a man that is on motion for the Lord. So when you see those that are on fire, there's something they are doing for the Lord. Their movement is revealed in the things they are doing for the Lord. They are busy doing something for the Lord, something major for the Lord. That's a man that is on fire. So if you are not doing anything for the Lord, you can't say you're on fire. So I've spoken about your heart, your obedience, and now I'm speaking on motion. Are you there? A man that is on fire is on motion for the Lord. The Spirit of God is moving him to do things. He's doing something for the Lord. If you're on fire, you cannot be idle. You will be busy doing something for the Lord. All right. Another thing to notice, a man that is on fire is daily living for the Lord. A man that is on fire is daily living for the Lord. So if you're on fire, you're expected to live daily for the Lord. Paul is an example of a man in the New Testament. Of course, we have many, but Paul is an example of a man in the New Testament who is on fire for the Lord. So Paul said, for me to live is Christ, meaning I live daily for the Lord. And if I die, is gain. That's a man that is on fire for the Lord. So if you are on fire for the Lord, your being alive, are you there, is profitable to God, because you are living daily for the Lord. What does it mean to live daily for the Lord? To live daily for the Lord is to live daily by His instructions. So when you live daily by His instructions, your life will be pleasing to Him, because the things you will be doing will be because He led you to do them. There will be nothing you are doing from self. Are you there? Everything you do will be because, are you there, you have received an instruction from the Lord. And this defines the life of a man that is on fire for the Lord. Are you there? If you're on fire for the Lord, you move from places to places preaching. I'm not necessarily saying that you become a missionary. Of course, every child of God is a missionary. Are you there? You are not a missionary because, not just because you move to another country. No. You are a missionary because everywhere you find yourself, you preach the gospel. Are you there? Through your life, through the way you talk? Are you there? Through engaging in scriptural, discussions? You preach the gospel. So if I go to the market now, somehow there will be something about me that will preach the gospel. I may not even talk about Jesus. It can just be speaking with the person I want to buy something from. How much is this? How much is this? Okay. Is that the last price? All right, give me this. There will be something about the way I'm talking that will reveal Jesus to the person I'm talking to. That's a man that is on fire. When you are talking on phone, how do you talk? And there's some people don't even know how to talk. Who is this? They're talking to somebody for the first time, And they are saying, who is this? Who are you? That's not it. Are you there? So being on fire for the Lord will also affect your communication skills, how you talk to people. You must learn to talk to people in such a way that they will feel important. Don't let your words reduce people's value. Don't let your words reduce their esteem, their self-esteem. Are you there? Now, being on fire for the Lord can also mean having a sleepless night sometimes. Yes. Are you there? Being on fire for the Lord can mean you work for God so much that you get very tired. Now, something happened yesterday. One of my brothers called me, and then I missed the call. And then I called him later when I saw the missed calls. He was not responding. And then when I got home, I just plugged my phone and then I went to rest. When I woke this morning around 5 or past 4, I missed this call again on my phone. So I called him. He said, sir, yesterday I was so tired. I did a lot of work from morning, working in the sun and things like that. So I just wanted to call you so that you can just pray, just speak a word. And then I now laughed. I told him, I said, yesterday, similar thing happened to me. Even me that you want to call to speak a word, me too, I need a word. And I told him, I said, that yesterday that you were calling me, of course, I've been busy in the house, but around past 12, I left the house for a fellowship. After the fellowship, we had another meeting again. I was answering several questions. I was standing to a point that my legs were literally shaking. I could feel pains in my legs. So they got me a chair. I sat. I was still answering questions. And those that are in that meeting, of course, yesterday, they know what I'm saying. After some time, we switched again to relating with wisdom. We did that for some minutes. Then I left. Meanwhile, that same yesterday, I had another ministration, and I'm supposed to come up by around 5. Yes, the convener told me that I will be coming up around 5:10. And then I was still with these people till, I think, 4 or past 4. Yes, it was. Yes, I was still with them till past 4. Yes, I think past 4 yesterday. And I'll be going to another place where I'll be coming up to minister by after 5. And then so I left there straight with 2 of my brothers to that place. So when I got there, I could not even stay for up to 1 hour. They brought me up to minister. And then after I ministered, the convener already told me, there are some cases you need to attend to. So while I was going to my seat, I discovered there was a paper where I was seated. And then the convener told me, this paper is for you. So I saw my name on the paper. I opened it. I saw, okay, there's a brother in the church who is addicted to this. I told him to come so that you can meet with him. To cut the long story short, the program ended around maybe past 7. I was still there till, I think, past 8. Because I had to meet with people and do this. And while I was doing that, my legs were aching. The two, not even one, the two. I could literally, walking for me yesterday was very hard because it was like I was carrying a heavy load. My legs were so heavy. Are you there? So getting home, I just told myself, I need to rest. Are you there? So being on fire for the Lord involves working for God to a point where even your body will feel it. Are you there? So when you are saying, I want to be on fire for the Lord, you need to you need to understand what you are saying. Sometimes you are terribly tired. Are you there? And yet, because of souls, how precious souls are to God, you will still sacrifice your. At that time, see, there are times that you give what you have. There are times that you give what you have. Many times, my presence in certain places is me sacrificing myself. Not even my time. I'm giving myself. And I'm not. That's just the truth. Because sometimes while I'm talking, there are pains I'm feeling in my body, but nobody will know. I'll just be there talking, and then you think, no, if I tell you the way I'm feeling, are you there? That's what it means to be on fire. I'm not saying all these things to scare you. I'm just saying them so that we can obey the words of Jesus. When he says, is there any man that wants to build that will not count the cost? Are you getting what I'm saying? There are times that for almost every day in a week, there are meetings, there are teachings I have to do. Even those of you that are here, you know that virtually every day I do teachings on the group. Are you getting what I'm saying? So please, to be on fire involves to be on fire is to be active in service for the Lord. You have to be active in service for the Lord. There are some of you, once there is sun, you don't want to go to fellowship because the sun is hot, and then God is looking at you. And then at home, while you are sleeping, you put on the fan. You say, why are you not going to fellowship? You say, no, the sun, the weather is not favorable for me. And then while you are laying on the bed, you put your head on the pillow. You say, Lord, I want to be on fire. Even angels will be laughing at you. What's this girl saying? What's this brother saying? That's the truth. Meanwhile, that yesterday, while I was doing those things, I have not even eaten anything. Till that night, I have not tasted anything. The only thing, I just thank God for water. At a point, they were even doing worship in the program. I could not stand. I just sat. I just did my hair like this. I know some people, they will think this man is praying. I'm not praying, no. I'm just trying to live. You don't understand. Sometimes the prayers I'm praying is, Lord, if you can spare my life and I don't die in this program, I will I will serve you forever. There was a time, maybe was it, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, after the Sunday meeting. Yes, my birthday was November 30. The next day was a Sunday. And then that Sunday, I was already tired before extremely tired before fellowship started by 3 on Sunday. I was already tired. Now, so when the fellowship started, and if you look at that message, that was the day I did a message on the labors of a minister. If you study the way I was talking in that teaching, you will know that this man is just trying to. Those of you that have listened to that message, the labors of a minister. The message was powerful as usual, but if you are discerning, you will know that this man talking here is trying to survive. I was so tired. I could not even come up for the second session. We were just doing, let's just take testimonies. Are you getting what I'm saying? I was so tired that when the fellowship ended, that was December 1st, this month. When the fellowship ended, I had to, of course, I still had to meet with some people after the fellowship. So when they all left, I had to speak to Minister Christ Rock. I said, please, just put some things together. I need to just rest. Let me just rest for like 20 minutes before I can move, because I was so tired that I knew I cannot even walk. So everywhere was dark in the fellowship, but I was just there. I was just lying on that thing. I said, I need to rest for 20 minutes. And then you will now think that after that 20 minutes rest, I'm going home. No, there was another. May God help us. That same night, there was another Bible question and answer thing that was fixed for that Sunday. So after that 20 minutes rest is just to be alive, to be able to walk to the next place. So I have to walk to that place again. I was so hungry, not eat. Jesus. In my mind, I was like, sometimes it's not like you do, sometimes even you have money, but to even go and buy the thing, that's what it means to be on fire. Sometimes you'll be so tired that instead, you see, I'm not saying this. See, there's a place of resting, and I understand the place of rest. Of course, I rest too. Are you there? But there are times that because you are on fire for God, you'll be so tired that you will not even, you will be so active, that to even rest will be hard. I'm not joking. Are you there? Resting is important. So I also tell people to rest because I do it. But the truth is, because you're on fire sometimes, resting will become a sin. Because There will be so much that you have to do that you know. See, there are times in life that you know that if you rest, some things will be at stake. Let me give you an example. There was a camp that was done this year, an SU camp. I was there. And then one of the parents that came to pick, her children, she came with a car, and then, it was spacious. And then we were going the same direction because my house was in her direction. As a matter of fact, you will get to my own house before you get to our own house. So it's supposed to be a free ride for me. So when she came, I was even the one calling her children for her. So it's easy for me to just say, oh, let me just follow you with my brothers that are with me, and then we'll go. But I knew that there are some girls, more than 5, that I needed to implicate. So, of course, I was tired, but if I should say, okay, I'm tired, I need to go and rest, and I enter into that car, those girls will not be implicated. So I missed that thing deliberately. And then I sat with those girls in a classroom after the camp had ended for another, I think, more than 1 hour. And sincerely, the result of that meeting with them is still obvious till now. Are you there? Those girls were, I can't tell you what happened. I can't even explain what happened. But I was so glad that I paid that price to wait behind. That 1 hour or 2 hours that I spent with them, forever I will be grateful that I did. Yes, I know what I'm saying. I know what I'm saying. So sometimes you are tired. Are you there? But you still need to really round off what you are doing. You see, tiredness should not affect obedience. Are you there? Tiredness should not affect obedience. The moment you begin to disobey because you are tired, something is wrong. What you are doing is no longer a sacrifice. God is not wicked. He knows you need to rest. He will give you room to rest. Are you there? So it is now, for example, if you are tired and God is giving you an instruction, obey that instruction. It's pointing your attention to someone. You need to reach out. Just do what He says. That's when your resting will now count. If God is saying I should do something and I say I'm resting, if I lay my back on that bed or on anything or a chair or whatever, I will not even be able to rest. So if you can rest in disobedience, then you are not spiritually healthy. A man that is healthy spiritually can only rest in obedience. So I ensure that I've done what He asked me to do. There are some things you can still pause. So I will ensure I've done those urgent things He asked me to do. Then, of course, I will always have something to do. But when I know that the remaining things for me to do are things that I can still pause. I'm working on a document, and then my eyes are heavy already, I'm feeling sleepy, I can hold on and go and sleep. Or I can go and rest. Are you there? So we must know when to rest. Are you there? And how to rest. Are you there? Don't rest in disobedience. Rest in obedience. Meaning, ensure you have carried out His instruction before you take a rest. That's when you can truly rest. And that's when you can rest in peace. You get what I'm saying? So resting in peace now is not negative. Is with this picture of a kind of rest that God is happy with. Are you there? All right, let's check the scripture, and then let's just check what Jesus said. Then we wrap up this teaching. Luke chapter 14 from verse 27. And whosoever doth not bear his cross and come after me cannot be my disciple. For which of you, intending to build a tower, sitteth not down first, and counteth the cost, whether he have sufficient to finish it? Lest haply, after he had laid the foundation, he is not able to finish it. All that behold it begin to mock him. Can you see that? Jesus is now saying that if you want to build a house, sit and count the cost. So that you will not lay the foundation and now you are not able to finish it. And the people that see what you are building will now begin to mock you. But if you are taking the time to calm down and count the cost, You will finish what you have started. What Jesus is saying is not that we should not have faith. Are you there? But what Jesus is saying is, in addition to your faith, add work to it. Faith without works is dead. Are you getting what I'm saying? So Jesus is saying that your faith is good, but your faith must have works. Otherwise, with that faith, you'll be mocked. For example, Lord, I need a job, and then you are not going out. You are not sending your CV, you are not writing any application, but you're always going to the mountain because you have faith that God will give you a job. No, it doesn't come that way. So when you pray for a job, the work that should be attached to that faith, because it takes faith to pray. So you have exercised your faith by praying. Then the works you do is now to write applications, search for where there are vacancies. That's the work. Are you there? Prayers can even be frustrating when there's no work to back it up. Are you there? That's the truth. Oh Lord, I want to be a blessing. Now you have exercised your faith by praying that prayer because it takes faith to pray. So what do you now do? You now reach out to your friends. How is your relationship with God? Some of them will open up to you. This is what I'm passing through. Then you give them counsel. What if you try this? For some of them, you say, okay, and can we pray tonight? Thank God for technology. You can pray on your phone. Can we just fix 30 minutes to pray tonight together? I said, okay. Are you there? By so doing, you are being a blessing. You are not just praying. You are not just demonstrating faith. You are adding works to it. That's what Jesus is trying to teach them. You want to build a house, count the cost. It is faith, are you there, that makes you believe that you can build. But the works you need to add now is to count the cost. How much thing will I need to complete this building? So faith will create the picture of the house you want to build. But the works, the effort is now in estimating the amount you will spend in finishing the house. The two must work together. Are we together? The two must work together.